Be a content creator with passion. For a long time, I considered myself an internet marketer, and I also considered myself very burned out. I wasn't earning the truly passive income yet, and I wasn't writing about the things I loved either. Then I changed the way I saw myself and started to think of myself as a content creator. A content creator is very similar to an internet marketer. They do effectively the same job in that they are creating a brand and promoting it online in order to subsequently profit from sales or ads. The difference is that the content creator does this while keeping the focus purely on creating great content, on the brand and on the logo itself, on the quality and value being shared via articles, etc. The content creator is also far more likely to delve into multimedia as a videographer or as an app developer. The marketer creates content, but when you become a content creator, you start to hone those skills, and you place much more emphasis on creating something worthwhile. Not only does this put you massively in demand and massively help to grow your brand, it also helps to improve your work satisfaction. If you can create videos with high production value, then you can build authority and relationships with your audience much more effectively and quickly. If you can create stunning designs for WordPress sites and logos, then you can sell any product far more effectively by selling a dream rather than just an ebook. If your content is passionately written, people will want to read it, and even Google will pick up on signs like reduced bounce rates. Now you'll be in demand as a marketer, because you can offer things that other spammy marketers can't. Not only that, but you will be happier because you will be pouring your heart into something you love, so that even if it doesn't take off right away, you'll still feel rewarded and you won't give up. If you view internet marketing as a get-rich-quick scheme, then you will be disappointed. In all likelihood, you'll create low-quality content and a spam-filled website. Instead, blog with passion, and you'll build trust and become far more effective at selling. Think about all your favorite websites, blogs, and marketers. Do they seem like they're in it to create a quick buck? Content creation with passion. What sets the great blogs apart from the mediocre ones? What makes you bookmark a blog and go back there on a daily basis rather than seeing it once and opting not to look at it again? There are several things that separate the wheat from the chaff, and knowing that difference is crucial if you want your site or blog to fall into the category of the greats and bring people back time after time. But the most important thing of all is to blog with passion, and you will find that everything else is born out of this. Right from the heart. Think about the blogs you like, and head over to those sites for a read. What does the writing have in common? Chances are that each of them feel like they're writing to you. They feel like they're enthusiastic, real people who have a grasp on the subject, and that are interested in what they are writing about. These people, by and large, are not blogging because they want to get rich. They are blogging because they genuinely want to write about those subjects. Can you say the same? If you currently write articles by looking up ideas online or on Wikipedia and then rewording what you read, then you aren't really offering anything interesting to the reader, and you aren't entertaining them. Your site will feel lifeless, and if you don't sound enthusiastic, how can you expect your visitors to? Make sure that you want to write each topic, and if you can't find the motivation to write on a particular subject, then perhaps it's time to think about changing the title slightly so that it is more interesting. Keep on punching. If you write with passion and you write from the heart, then this is what's going to keep you going long after you've started to worry that your site isn't going to be a hit. If you can keep writing despite the fact that you aren't sure anyone is listening, then this will mean you're unlikely to ever give up, and it will mean that the site stands the test of time. Otherwise, you'll find that you lose interest in your site as soon as you start to feel deflated. Write for you and not for anyone else, and you will be much more likely to be successful. Be creative. Likewise, your site design and everything else should be creative, and it should look like some thought has gone into it. Did you have a vision and a passion for your site before you created it? Or did you just use the first template you could find? You need to ensure that when someone sees your site, they are seeing something exciting and different, and that has obviously had a lot of care and attention put into it. That way, you will be able to ensure that people realize the passion you have for the subject before they've even started reading. One thing I have never understood is these people who will spend time and energy learning to code and coming up with inventive and ingenious algorithms all so that they can make a spam bot or content spinner? Why not put that same time and energy into making a good site in the first place that people actually want to come to? To do this, you need to love what you do. And if that comes across, then other people will want to visit your site. Put it out there. You also need to be just as passionate with marketing your site, and to do this again, you need to have passion for it. Make sure you are immensely proud of your site, so that you can't help but bring it up in every conversation. Accomplish this, and you will ensure that you are able to market it better. If you are ashamed of your site, on the other hand, and don't want people to see it, then quite simply, you won't promote it as much as you should, and no one will find it. Looking after your health and happiness as a digital marketer. If you work online full-time, then you might not consider yourself in a particularly dangerous line of work. You're not exactly a firefighter or a soldier, but there are still dangers here. They're just much more subtle. Internet marketers don't only run the risk of being highly stressed, they also run the risk of getting badly out of shape and even causing issues like RSI, repetitive strain injury. If you want to be the successful type of internet marketer that we discussed at the start of this training, the one who others perceive as a successful and polished entrepreneur who is going places rather than a washed-up bum who doesn't want a real job, then you need to focus on yourself. Not only that, but it is only by focusing on your own health that you do your best work and stand the best chance of success. Mental health. If you are a digital marketer, then you are an entrepreneur. And if you're an entrepreneur, then, as Tim Ferriss often discusses, you are at a heightened risk for bipolar disorder. This is a huge emotional roller coaster, and you will have days when you have tons of work and all your projects are going well, and days where it all just seems a waste. This is why it is so important to guard your mental health and to look after yourself, so you can continue to do your best work without becoming burned out or giving up entirely. Some things to consider. Make sure that you really do create a divide between your work and your personal time off. That means turning off your phone, having a separate email account, etc. Try meditation. This is fantastic for improving your ability to compartmentalize in your mind and for ignoring things that don't matter when you're not working. Do things you love and do it for the love. Remove the pressure from yourself. Likewise, remove the expectation that you'll be earning millions this time next year. Try to enjoy the ride. Sleep well and make sure you aren't going to bed late. Eat a healthy and nutritious diet. Exercise. This is especially important considering how static a job digital marketing is. Look after yourself. You might be working from home, but that doesn't mean you can work in the sweats all day. Remember the old adage, dress for the job you want. Take care of your appearance. If you don't have time for basic health and maintenance, strongly reconsider your current business model and your work-life balance. The right gear and setup for staying productive. Looking after your health is important, but you can also see considerable boosts in your happiness and productivity by looking at your tech and setup. The right hardware. One tip that I absolutely recommend to all internet marketers, bloggers, and other internet entrepreneurs is to invest in good technology. When you're an internet marketer, you're essentially a one-man or woman band. That means that you are the business. Your passion projects are your R&D, and your equipment is your main computer. If you are working on a machine that takes 5 minutes to boot up, that gets hot even when it is under even a minor workload and that regularly crashes, then you absolutely must upgrade. You'll save a huge amount of time by having a computer that springs instantly to life, and you avoid those painful moments where your computer crashes and you lose all that work you've been doing. But the reasons to invest in good tech go way beyond that. They extend to the simple fact that good tech is more pleasant and enjoyable to work on. When I upgraded to the Dell XPS 15, I suddenly had a 4K screen, a blazing fast i7 processor with the GPU, a comfortable keyboard, and typing experience. All this made such a difference to my enjoyment of work, and that in turn began to be reflected in the work. I worked better because I enjoyed what I was doing more, and because I could run more software more easily than before, more options became available. Building a productive home office. If you work from home, then you're likely to have found that remaining productive and maintaining focus are two of the biggest challenges you face on a day-to-day basis. For some reason, we find it harder to work when we're not actually at work, and this often results in our mind wandering, or us finding procrastination in all kinds of places. One of the best ways to counter this effect is to design a home office that encourages focus, and that we actually want to work in. If you're working from your own home, then you'll have far more freedom in what you can do with your office space, and you should really take advantage of this fact. At the same time, if you work this way full-time, then you're probably going to spend the actual majority of your life at your desk and or in your office, and as such, you should make the most of it by making it as nice as it can be. This will not only improve your quality of life, but will also ensure that you are as productive as you can be, and always doing your best work. Firstly then, make sure that you don't cut any corners, and that you're willing to spend a fair amount on your office to make it as nice as possible. The first place to invest this money is in a new desk, and this will have the biggest impact on your work. The desk should fit with the decor of the room, but at the same time, make you feel professional, and be something you want to show off. Sitting at your desk should feel like manning a spaceship, and if it does, then you will feel good about yourself when you work, which will rub off on the quality and quantity of the work you do. The hallmarks of a good desk are to have as many compartments as possible, to have lots of space for working on, and for having or being a part of at least one right angle. The compartments are important, as they'll mean you don't have to keep getting up to get things. At the same time, they just feel organized. And if you feel organized, then your brain will automatically be more organized in the way it stores and processes information. By right angle, I meant that when you sit at your desk, you should have a surface in front of you to work from and a surface to your left or right. The best options will also have a third surface behind you, or to the other side, or it will have multiple layers in front. On these different layers, you should then organize multiple work or information stations. That means multiple computers or at least multiple monitors. It means lots of places to store ring binders, filing cabinets, and folders. And it means lots of places for you to write shorthand notes to yourself. If your desk doesn't come with all these things, then you can use other smaller tables, cabinets, and shelving arrangements all within reach. The reason that this is so important is that it allows you to work on multiple things at once. For example, you can have one monitor for writing a document, while you have another monitor in charge of showing you the relevant information you need to work on. Alternatively, you could have one of your monitors or computers taking care of your email, so that you don't have to keep checking an Explorer every 2 minutes. Meanwhile, you might want to have a work zone for jotting notes, which will mean you can jot things down as they come to you. By the same token, simply having this many different work zones is another way to make yourself feel professional. And with lots of lights and screens surrounding you, you'll feel on top of things, as though you have all the information you need to tackle anything that comes up, and can multitask if necessary. This concept of work zones is the same one that's used in kitchens, and is a great way to stay on top of your work. Another good item to have among these things is a notice board. This will go on the wall behind all of your surfaces, and will be the place to pin up things that you need to remember, which will improve your productivity by preventing you from sitting idly for ages while you rack your brain for what it was you were meant to be doing. Well, this will all look very slick. You should avoid making it look too cold. And a few simple distractions such as desk toys, a cat's cradle, solitaire, etc., can be a great way to prevent yourself from getting more distracted by worse things such as Facebook. And if you choose them well, then they will add to the decor of your work environment. Finally, amongst all this, you should have a swivel chair, which will allow you to spin from one work zone to another without getting up, and to reach all of your storage to get whatever it is that you need. Again, it will also help create that feeling of being at a high-tech workstation and having everything that you need right at your fingertips. And this will mean you feel on top of everything and appropriately effective. My number one tip for boosting productivity and happiness as an internet marketer, though, is to head to coffee shops. In a coffee shop, you get a change of scenery to prevent cabin fever. You are watched, meaning you can't just slack. And you keep your work and private lives nicely separate. The background chatter of cafe patrons and the smell of coffee all add to a highly productive state of mind. Digital nomad. The digital nomad is a fascinating concept that has only become possible in the last several years. This is a vision of a lifestyle filled with adventure and travel, but funded by a stable income with no risk of going bankrupt. How does it work? Simple. By using computers and other technology, you create a situation where you can work remotely from anywhere, as long as you have an internet connection. Then you pack your bags and travel the world, using your online work to fund your traveling. But at the same time, living cheaply in hostels and other places so that you don't need that much cash to begin with. You can see the world and have countless adventures, and all you need is a laptop. To many, this is the ultimate lifestyle design for the digital marketer, so it seems only fitting that we touch on it here. But is it the right type of lifestyle for you? It's certainly not for everyone, and it's not the only option for true lifestyle design, as some people seem to think it is. Consider the following points before making up your mind. Attachments. The first thing you need to consider if you're thinking of becoming a digital nomad is how many attachments, commitments, and responsibilities you have back home. Technology might give you the freedom to travel the world in principle, but if it means leaving a girlfriend or boyfriend back home who might leave you, then it suddenly becomes a little less realistic. Likewise, you'll have to say goodbye to your friends and family for a while, which is hard for some people too. You can travel with a buddy, of course, but it will be hard to find someone who is willing to drop everything, and even this companion won't stop you from missing the people most important to you. Creature comforts. Another thing to ask is whether you're the sort of person who likes your creature comforts, or whether you think you could live without them. You are going to be staying in some pretty cheap places, and carrying as little as possible on your back. So, you should anticipate that you might have to go weeks without a shower sometimes, and that you'll rarely get a nice cup of tea the way you like it. Are you that guy or gal? Tech savvy and entrepreneurial spirit. Remember, in space, no one can hear you scream. And in the Sahara Desert, there is no IT support. Are you going to be capable of getting your computer up and running again if it goes downhill? Will you be able to buy something that will get the job done in the flea market? And likewise, are you the sort of person who is capable of turning a profit without a boss? Are you disciplined to make yourself work when you could be out exploring a new city? And do you have the creativity to come up with the ways you can make money while you're on the road? Remember, being a digital nomad is just one form of lifestyle design. You may decide that you want to change your life by working online, but that doesn't necessarily mean you'll have to go traveling. Think about what works for you, and remember that sometimes fantasies aren't what they're cracked up to be. The program. We've gone over an awful lot in this training and talked about some high-level concepts such as work-life balance, side hustles, prioritizing workloads, and productivity tips. Now let's recap everything we've learned and put it together into a program so you are a happier, healthier digital marketer. If you are an internet entrepreneur or small business, then you will probably often feel as though your resources are being stretched to the point where you're struggling to get everything done. Chances are, you will be juggling multiple tasks at any given time and trying to decide which of your different commitments or side projects should come first. For instance, if you use bootstrapping to fund some of your larger projects, then that will mean you might well have to provide services on a regular basis in order to maintain your funding. Meanwhile, though, if you're doing that, then you will also want to make sure that you actually spend some of your time pursuing those projects that you're more passionate about too, and that could potentially be more profitable in the long term. But then you need to choose which of those projects to invest the most time in, and which to do first, all while completing various administrative tasks and dealing with the other drains in your time, such as, lifestyle design. Key to all of this is to know what you want from life and how your online business fits into this. Do you want a purely passive income that allows you to travel and forget work? Or are you happy to work hard indefinitely, as long as it's on a topic that you enjoy? More importantly, how much money do you need to live? What are your personal aspirations? How much time will it take you to earn that money? What are the different variables you can manipulate to get the lifestyle you want? At the same time, consider what you need to get your internet marketing business off the ground. With all that in mind, you can then work on how much money you need to earn, and make sure that you do that every day. Be strict, and leave time for yourself and for your passion projects. Hierarchy. If you're anything like me, then you will probably have about 20 side projects going on at any one time, as well as your main job and other commitments. This is something that was recognized at the organization I worked for last. where they said to work using the following guideline: family first, then work, then personal development. The family first thing is something that's important to remember when you're an entrepreneur, as you don't want to get so wrapped up in pursuing success that you forget the reason you wanted to be successful in the first place, which was probably to spend more time with your family and to be able to support them. Work then comes before development, which can mean personal development or R&D, because you've committed to your clients and employers when you take on these jobs, and delivering results on time is crucial for your reputation and your continued financial stability. Separating your work. The danger, though, here is that you might end up never actually getting around to the projects that you want to work on, and so fail to make any progress as a business because you'll be too busy fulfilling your day-to-day needs. To solve this problem, a good system to use is to separate your workload into distinct sections that you can then work through in sequence. For instance, you might allocate the first half of your day to your immediate pressing tasks and commitments you have to clients. Following this, you might then divide the next half of the day into administrative tasks followed by work on your projects. This would mean that you'll definitely get time to work on your projects, but on slow days or days when you have a larger than normal workload, your most crucial tasks won't be the ones to suffer. You would then also draw a line underneath your day to mark the end of your working day and to avoid it spilling over into your private life. Your family will thank you, and you'll come into work with more energy and rejuvenated enthusiasm. Organizing your projects. In terms of knowing which of your projects to work on when, you will again benefit from focusing on one side project at a time, rather than trying to divide your attention between all of them at once. To decide which of your projects you want to prioritize first, it can be useful to do some math and to look into your projected time to completion versus the potential profit of the project. In other words, then, if you have a lengthy project that is something of a labor of love for you, then you may want to deprioritize this and focus on the shorter and more immediate profitable tasks. If you finish the smaller tasks first and these start bringing in profits, then you'll increase your overall turnover much more quickly than you would working on a lengthy and risky project initially. Once you have built up some success and experience, you can then turn your attention to the more ambitious concepts. Of course, there is always the chance that if one of your smaller side projects takes off in too big a way, it could end up preventing you from ever focusing on your dream projects. While profits are important, and it's good for business to use the above method, it's equally important to make sure that any projects you spend time on fit your company's mission statement. If you can't get passionate about it, then you have no business doing it. Steps to a better lifestyle. So for the burned out blogger or the internet marketing maniac, here are some steps to enjoying a better work-life balance. Create a business model with a stable revenue stream and a passion project. Bootstrap. Know precisely how much you need to earn to fund your lifestyle and your passion projects. Likewise, know the lifestyle you want to live and consider a digital marketing strategy to achieve that. This might mean becoming a digital nomad, but think it through carefully. Earn that amount each day. Then switch focus. Work on one side project at a time. Make sure it is something that you love doing. Make sure it is something with a good risk-reward ratio. Start out with fail-fast, smaller business projects in order to learn and to start bringing in more passive income. Do not spend months and months on a sales funnel for your first project. Gradually switch the balance from the grind to those passion projects. Create multiple revenue streams. Look after your mental and physical health. Keep the mental discipline to avoid the temptation to keep working and to separate your work and your life. Meditation can be hugely beneficial. Eat, sleep, exercise. Dress for the job you want. Invest in yourself, in a great home office and a great, powerful computer for working on. Go to coffee shops to escape your own environment. You can travel more without necessarily becoming a digital nomad. Find the passion. Become a content creator more than a marketer. Don't expect overnight success. Remove the pressure. This means writing a strict schedule to define when you work on which projects, as well as when you'll finish work. And this is what all of this really comes down to. Discipline. With discipline and passion, you will be able to tame this mighty beast and make digital marketing work for you. Then, anything is possible.